Hey, Nick here with the first behind the scenes video that's going to be released for my very lengthy animation that I'm working on, the road trip. I technically have another video already recorded, but it may or may not be released. And if it is on the set design and how I'm doing all the sets, which means that it'll be released after the animation is released. So there's no spoilers because we're not doing any spoilers here. I'm not a fan of spoilers. So yeah, this video is about how I'm designing the geometry for the characters that I'm going to be creating. And I'm going to be doing the concept art and choosing how they're actually going to look without doing any details. I'm not doing the faces yet. I'm just doing how the bodies work. And behind on the screen right now, you can see that I'm doing concept art for the base Minecraft character, because this animation is going to be set in a Minecraft world, but I wanted to do a little bit more detailed and rig my own characters to add a little bit more to it. So I'm starting out with the basics and drawing your basic Minecraft character before moving on and creating a slightly higher detail version of that. Starting out this whole design process, I tried to really just jump straight into it, which now that I've tried that, it does not work very well. I tried to just straight up draw a whole character right from the beginning, and I wanted to draw one and then I'd do a bunch of poses, and then I'd go to the next version, and then I would put them all in a lineup and judge them at the end. And that was the whole idea at the beginning, which did not work very well. It didn't turn out that so great. So I've decided at this point that I need to do each individual part. I'm going to do the head, and then the body, and the arms, and then the legs, and then the feet. And then I'm going to piece them all together and choose the best from each so that I get the ideal character. Designing the head was interesting. I started out with your basic cube, and then I tried to add some beveling to the first one. That didn't work out very well either. Then I just started throwing in random shapes and trying to add more detail and just messing with all the faces. I tried to decide between those flat faces or ones with more detail, whether or not it would be better to have more shape, which I really couldn't decide. I just kept drawing more shapes to it. And none of them turned out the same way as the first character that I drew before I realized I needed to break it up into separate chunks before I piece it all back together again. And I didn't really like the pointed look that I was getting with almost all of them. So I ended up just organizing them out, and I'm going to decide now which one to choose. Alright, so we've got some head designs, and I've gone and moved them into two categories, which I'm going to call flat heads and sloped heads. So now I have to decide between the two of these. I guess I'm gonna go and list some pros and cons and try and figure out which one is gonna be one to choose. So in terms of the flat heads, they'll be simpler to rig, they're closer to the original design and the rest of the world, and they're probably nicer to look at. And then in terms of the sloped heads, they're gonna be more complicated to rig. You can get more head shapes. That means that I'll be able to get more accurate head shapes, but they might not fit the flat style. So here I am doing the body design. Needless to say, I was not very happy with the first design. It looked way too much like just like a shirt to be the actual body. Which, I mean, the point, it will look like a shirt, but I don't want it to look like a shirt. At least, not the default design. And so then I went on and I technically it's the same design. I just changed the proportions around to make sure I could get the same thing. So it is the same geometry as the shirt. I have a neck at this point, which I end up getting rid of. And then we continue on and move them around. And I did both a male and female body design, make sure I could get both genders accurately with the geometry that I'm choosing to keep the main goal there was to make sure I had vertices in the right spots so that I could have the littlest amount of geometry possible and still be able to make the right proportions so that we can identify the characters when I design them. Here I'm doing the leg design, so the main things I'm thinking about here are what the function is going to be and how much shape I want to be able to put into the legs themselves. So right at the top we have the quads, and I decided to go with a very rectangular look to them where they stay the same width the whole way through. And then we go farther down, we hit the knees, and I have to decide if I want any extra geometry at the knees for the bending, or if I just want an edge that it bends at. So we assume there's knees there, but you don't actually see any knees. And I just went with the edge. And then finally we have the calves, which are the same story as the quads. In terms of the feet, I knew I didn't want toes, seeing as at the moment I'm not planning on doing any hands, but if that looks weird, that could change, but it probably won't change. So we're probably sticking with no hands, because I can't do just the palm of the hand without the fingers. And so if I'm going to do the feet, we can do feet without toes and still have them look like feet. So I am doing the feet without the toes. And then I had to decide on if I wanted to add, how much shape do I want to add to the feet, as with the other things that we've already done. And do I want to add any arch to the bottom of the foot? In the end, I decided with just the flat, very simplistic version, seeing as that works perfectly fine, and it has a very shoe-like shape, which is what most feet are going to be looking like. They're going to have shoes, and you're not going to see the toes anyway. So yeah, this is the shoe design, well, the foot design. So here I'm just going and Frankensteining my way to see what my base character is going to look like at the moment. And after seeing it, the first thing that sticks out to me is the fact that the head looks like it's just really like stuck on top. Like I might add a little bit more geometry up on top of the shoulders towards where the head is. Maybe a neck, though I'm not super sold on that. So definitely going to make the shoulders a little bit more sloped so it doesn't look so flat on top. And other than that, without no hands seems to work pretty well. It looks totally fine to me that there are no hands. Like it fits everything else pretty well. And I'm definitely going to be attaching the legs to the body. Everything's going to be attached except for maybe the arms might not be, but the legs will be attached to the body. Those will be one piece. So the body's going to be made up into 4 parts. 2 arms, actually maybe 5 parts? Wait. Well, one part is going to be the feet, legs, and body. And then 2 more parts are the arms, and the 4th part is the head, maybe? But if I end up adding a neck, then that'll be connected to the body. And it won't be just kind of floating there. We'll see. Here's the final sketch that I'm going to be working with for the next however long. The feet look a little wonky, and the proportions are there's still a little something off about them, but that'll be easily fixed when I actually make it in 3D, which will be a whole lot easier than drawing it. In the end, I decided to not only add the sloping to the shoulders, but I also put in a neck, which I think, like either you put in a neck or the head is just going to be floating a little higher. So I might as well put in like just a square for the neck. And I think it definitely helps a lot. This final sketch looks a whole lot better than the little Frankenstein one there over on the left. Like the head's a little bit off the shoulders, so it looks more accurate. Like the one on the left looks like a robot compared to this one. And with that, we are done. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Also, go down in the comments section and let me know your opinion on spoilers. Now go out there and do something awesome.